we found out about a horse feedlot just east of Crossfield, and we went out there, and that's a pretty grim situation. But Kathy went one way and I went the other way, and we kind of both come back with about,
we picked out 6 each.
yeah, 6 each, and that's how we kind of got started.
We had the funds available at the time.
Yeah.
We had a little bit of money.
Yeah, I had a little bit of money, and just thought, it would be a nice thing to do. I don't think we thought we'd ever have 100 horses.
No.
If you would have asked me 7 years ago if we'd have 100 horses, I said, "Are you crazy?" We just try to raise people's awareness that that horses are being sent for slaughter, and I think a lot of people don't know that. I mean, I've met lots of people where you say, "Well, you're a horse rescue." Well, why? Well, because people are, sending their best friend to the auction, who ends up not going to a home, who ends up at the slaughter facility, and they're kind of like, "Well, people eat horse meat." Well, yeah, they do.
Well, when you go to the auction, generally there are pens in the back that are full of horses, and they bring them through.
It's a pretty stressful environment. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like a stadium setup where, with rows of seats, and then there's like an area that the horses come into that everybody looks at, and it's pretty stressful. I mean, some of these horses probably never been in a trailer, let alone to town.
I mean, the meat buyer buys
Yeah.
everything that nobody else buys.
They're so sensitive to their environment, and their first thing is is fight or flight. I mean, they are herd animals, so they want to get out of any dangerous situation right away. So if they're restrained or and that kind of thing, yeah, it's not a nice process for them.
I don't think it's a fitting end for something that's been a pet. It feels like a betrayal, I guess, is the way to put it.
I mean, we might be tired and that, but every day we still get up to do it because it's our passion. I mean,
And we have 100 horses here, and they have to be looked after.
yeah.
So it's not a choice. You can't just say, well, I'm not going to do it today.
I mean, all in all, there's probably, on a daily basis with everybody that we have here, it's probably about 4 hours of work minimum.
Yeah. That's part of the problem is I mean, I like just being out with them.
Yeah.
I go down to the herd, and everybody gets one cookie and pet everybody and see how they're doing.
Yeah.
I'd like to be able to spend more time just actually working with them one-on-one, but we just don't have the time to do it, which is where the volunteers come in, is that at least they come out, they have time to do that.
We've got a number of volunteers that do come out.
We get some help, but it's mostly us right now. It'd be nice to have paid positions, because if you paid somebody to actually come out or to live out here and do it, it'd be great. But we don't have the funds for that.
No.
It's such a commitment, and then when you have this many, it's not like you can say, well, it's okay if we don't get any donations or grants this year.
Yeah, it's become more critical to keep up with funding and that, and
Yeah.
because money drives it all. I mean, if we don't have the money, we can't buy hay, and if we can't buy hay, we can't keep the horses.
Yeah,
Everybody has time here. They're not going to be going anywhere. If nobody adopts them, they just stay here. I mean, they'll live out their whole lives here if that's what happens. I mean,
Yeah.
we're not going to be sorting anybody out and saying, well, we've had you for 5 years, we're going to have to, do something.
It's not like
You
the
know,
pound or something.
yeah,
where
we-
you get so much time and then your time's
Yeah,
up.
I was terrible when one would get adopted and they'd come to pick it up or something like that. I had to go for a walk because I just didn't want to see them go. And now I'm happy that they're going to a home because they're moving on to a better life. I mean, we give them the best care we can, but you can't always give them the one-on-one attention that a horse deserves all the time. So it's when they're adopted now, and I still kind of, they're all kind of like our kids kind of thing, but
Yeah, and you worry about
and
them.
you worry that you've only met these people a few times and they're taking one of your kids and you're just hoping that they're going to look after them. I've learned a lot more about respecting animals too. I mean, it's just, I think that a lot of people could learn to respect animals just a little bit more. I mean, we'd like to see the rescue carry on after we can't look after it. I mean, I don't know how worn out I'm going to get over the next 20 years.
Yeah. I've gotten a lot worn out in the
Yeah,
last 5 or 6.
It's, it's that kind of thing. in all honesty, I mean, it would be nice if we weren't needed anymore. That would be my long-term goals, to see horse rescue not even needed, that horses don't have to be rescued, but I don't think that's very realistic. Well, there's a lot of satisfaction. I mean, when you see, I mean, I was down the other day driving the tractor. I just finished putting some hay out, and no one was really particularly hungry, but they were all just standing around in the sunlight. And I swear they were all smiling because it was warm. And I just felt so good that, hey, these 60 horses that are in this herd are safe, looked after, and no one's going to hurt them, and they're not stressed about where their next meal's coming from or anything like that. And it was really satisfying, that moment. You just kind of, it's all worth it.